Hello once again, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome again to our revision session. This is a continuation of the paper that we are looking at for grade 10s. This is for you, grade 10s, and we did, if I can go through this, we looked at this paper and we did question 1 here. Some are asking, when did you do question 1? It means this is your first time, so I encourage you to register or subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. So ensure that the notification bell is turned on. Don't forget, subscribe below right now. Go on and subscribe. This will help you as we go in revision sessions for mathematics and science, and this is the channel designed with you in mind. So as we said, we've looked at question 1, we have looked at question 2 in the previous video, and let me move on. We have looked even at question number 3. We have done question number 3, so now we are looking at question number 4. So as I said, it's a continuation, so I'll just dive straight into the question. So let us look at question number 4, and then this question says 4.1, the following pattern, these are number patterns now, the following pattern is given: 5, 8, 11, 14. Then it says determine the general term of the pattern. This is 3 marks. So now how do you approach this, the general term? So let me just put this pattern down here. They are saying you are given 5, you are given 8, you are given 11, and you are given 14. So let's look at this. Now I think from here sometimes they ask you what is the next term. So you can see that from 5 here, for me to move from 5 to 8 I must add 3. You can see that 5 plus 3 I get an 8, and then from 8 to move to 11 I must add again another 3, and then from 11 to go to 14 I must add what? I must add 3. So you can see 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, 11 plus 3 is 14. Sometimes they ask you to say, tell us the next terms. So which means if I can move from 14, add 3, 14 plus 3, you expect the other term there to be 17. Alternatively, I can even go backwards to say, what if I wanted the number here just before 5? So which means that particular number, I must take that number and add what? And add 3. So if I say that number plus 3, I must get 5. So which number can I add 3 to get 5? You said it right. You say 5. If you're going backwards, you subtract. So it's like 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 minus 3, and that particular number there is number 2. Are you seeing that? So this is an important number whenever you're dealing with this. Look at that number, the number just before, the one that you're not given. It is an important number. So for us to be able then to find the general term, it says determine the general term of the pattern. So we are looking at that number 2 and what we are adding. So these 2, just always take note of them. Whatever you're adding, so you can just play around 2 things. Just say, if I say 2 plus 3, I get a 5. You're just playing around 2 versions. I'll show you how you go about it. Now here, you ask yourself to say, okay, for me to move from, that is from 2 to get 5, it's fine. Now if I say 2 times, now this was the first one, you put a 1 there. The second one, you put a 2 there, plus 3. You ask yourself, what do I get? 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3, this is a 7. So we are not getting the 8 that we're looking for. So what you tell yourself is that this is not the way. But now you can rewrite it in another way, similar. What you are going to say is start with 3 instead. Now you're going to say 3 plus 2. What do you get? You still get a 5. We said 2 plus 3, we got a 5. Now I'm saying 3 times 2. Now what you interchange, you are doing the same thing now to say, if I put a 1 there, it will still give me a 5. Now the second one, you say 3, and then you put a what? From 1, it's a 2, just like we did in the previous one, plus 2. Ask yourself what you get. 3 times 2 is 6, because we are multiplying here. Remember, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Do you see that now it is working? So now, so you move on also and try 3. So you say 3, and then you put a bracket here. Now from 2, you go to 3, and then you say what? Plus 2. Now 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2, it's 11. You move on again. You can see now the pattern is coming out. So we have 5, we have 8, we have 11. Now let's do the next one to see the 14 if ever is gonna come out. So what we have is 3. Now the next one here is a what? Is a 4. And then you're saying plus what? Plus 2. This 2 doesn't change, as you can see. Now 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So now look at the 2 there. It doesn't change. It's very important to notice. Oh, by the way, there is the 14 there. So now with that, you are able then to say, okay, since you have gotten these, so the first one was not the right one. So you're able now to say, this is my term 1. This is my term 2. This is my term 3. This is my term 4. So we call them terms. Term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. The question is determine the general term. So what you do now, pay attention now. What you do in that case, since you are looking for the general term, the general term is called Tn. So look at it. We are moving from 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just write T, you can see the numbers that are constant. Look at this. You can see that 3 was constant. I write 3. Then I jump plus the other one that was not changing was 2. You see that? So you saw that if I can focus not on the answers, but if I can just focus on this to say T1 is equal to 3, 1 plus 2. T2 is 3, 2 plus 2. Now if you look at that, if I say T in general, it will be T. For example, if I erase here, remove this one, you can see that I remove that one. Do you see what I'm talking about? You'll have T is 3 plus 2. Now, okay, let me bring that back. Which means if I say the general term, if I put an N there, you also come and put a bracket there, and then you put N. Do you see that? Then this becomes the general term. So you can leave it like that, or the simpler way is say 3n plus 2. That's the general term. So it's a matter of you studying these and kind of understanding. That's 3 marks. It's not bad. Let's move on to the next one. Question 4.2. It says 3x minus 7. Then you've got that. 2x, you have that. And 3x plus 1, you've got are the first 3 terms of a linear pattern. So this is also a pattern given. Now it says, if the pattern continues in this manner, determine the value of x. Determine the value of x. Now, how do you go about? Let me first take you to the first question again. This one. I just want to show you a few things here. The numbers that we had, it was 5. And then we had 8. We had 11. And then we had 14. Now, look at this. I say to you, this we call it term 1. The other one we called it term 2. The other one we called it term 3. The other one we called it term 4. Now I said for you to move from 5 to 8, we said plus 3. From 8 to 11, we said plus 3. Are you understanding what's happening? So now what you need then to understand here is that if I want to find what do you call this? If I want to find this term 3, what will it be? I will say T3, right? Look at this. If I say T3 minus T2, what do I get? Or if I start by the beginning part, if I say, let's start from the beginning, T1 minus T2, all right? Then I have T3 minus T2, and then I have T4 minus t3. Look what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to say is, if you take the first, this one, you subtract that one. Remember I said you subtract when you go back. Or you take this one, you subtract that one. Or you take this one, you subtract that one. Now what is going to happen? Look at this. It means if I say t1, I mean t2, not a 1 there, it's supposed to be a 2. t2 minus t1. You always start with the forward one minus the backward one. So t2 minus t1, what we get? So it's 8 here, minus 5. What do I get? I get a 3. And then the other one is t3 is 11 minus 8. I get a 3. See that? And the other one is 14 minus 11. I get a 3. So the key thing there is this number 3. Meaning, I can say this statement now. Pay attention. Remember, t2 minus t1, we got what? We got 3. Also, t3 minus t2, what did we get? We got also 3. Therefore, I can boldly say t2 minus t1 is equal to t3 minus t2. Look at what I just did. Why? Because the 3 that I get here is the 3 that I got on the other side. So here I'll get a 3 and this side I'll get a 3. Let's test it. What is t2? We said t2 was 8 and t1 was 5. So here I'll say 8 minus 5 is equal to, what is t3? t3 is 11. Is 11 minus 8. t2 is 8. Now what is 8 minus 5? Is 3 is equal to 11 minus 8 is also 3. See what I just did? Now it's the identical method that you are supposed to apply here. So this method that I just did here, this one, look at this. Now I've got something here. I've got 3x. Look at this. 3x minus 7. And then I've got 2x as the next term. And then I've got 3x plus 1. Look at this. So this is considered as one thing as your t1 in terms of x, your t2 in terms of x, and your t3 in terms of x. So that's what you're having. Now with this, remember this is considered as one thing. It's not 3x and then 7. And you consider this as one thing, and you consider this as one thing. So if I follow the same thing I did here to say t2 minus t1, so what I will have here, I'll say t2 minus t1 is equal to what? t3 minus t2. I'm following this method here. So t2 minus t1 is equal to t3 minus t2. You see that? Then what you need to do is algebra. Now what is t2? It's 2x minus what is t1? Now pay attention now. You are going to say t1 is 3x minus 7. If you write it like this though, you are going to get it wrong. Why? Because 3x minus 7 are two terms. This is term 1, this is term 2. So to ensure that this minus is affecting both of them, you put that bracket. Very important section. Don't forget the bracket. If you forget the bracket, then that's where you get it wrong, because this minus will only affect minus 3, but if it's a bracket, it will affect minus 3, it will affect 3 and negative 7. You move on now. T3 is 3x plus 1. 3x plus 1. Remember, when you're starting with a bracket, it's not necessary. You can start with a bracket, but it doesn't make any difference there. So this is just 3x plus 1. Then minus t2 is 2x. You can put a bracket if it's 1, but nothing changes with or without the bracket. Here the bracket is not necessary because the negative sign is after. If the negative was here, then we would have put a bracket to protect 3x and the positive 1. So you just need to respect this part on brackets. Now when you've done that, as I said, this negative, you distribute it there and you distribute it there. So you'll have 2x minus 3x. We are opening the brackets, remember. 3 negative times a positive 3x is negative 3x, minus times minus 7, minus minus becomes a plus 7. Remember, there is a hidden 1 there. You are saying minus 1 times 3 minus 1 times minus 7 is equal to 3x plus 1. Now this is simple negative 2x because there is no other part where the negative is affected. From here, you collect like terms. Take the x to one side, meaning take there, and then take the numbers to one side. Oh, there is another x going there. So what you will have? You will have 2x here minus 3x, yes, and then you're going to have minus 3x this one, and then you're going to have from negative 2x you're going to have plus 2x. Are you saying that? This then will become 1, we have a 1 there, then positive 7 will become negative 7. I hope you are following there. Take a calculator now, don't stress yourself with this algebra. Just say 2 minus 3 plus 2. The calculator will do the job for you. So it's 2 minus 3 plus 2 is negative 2. So I've got negative 2x is equal to 1 minus 7 is negative 6. Check with the calculator though. Negative 2, negative 2. Cancel there. What is my x? Now, as I say, always rely on your calculator. So you said 1 minus 7 is negative 6. So I'm saying negative 6 divided by negative 2, it gives me a positive 3. So the negative neutralizes that. Negative 2 into 6 is a 3. So my x there is equal to what? My x there is equal to 3. Now the question says, if the pattern continues this manner, determine the value of x. You just found it. X is equal to what? X is equal to 3. That's the thing. If the pattern continues in this manner, determine the value of x. They didn't say find these terms, they just wanted the value of x. So that is it. X is equal to 3. Now the next one says 4.2.2. Which term in the sequence is the first to be greater than 31? Which term? So in a way, we are forced to do this here, to say here, just want to show you something here, to say if I can erase this part here, just to see how this thing is gonna be like. Remember, we got the value of x and we said the value of x is what? They said find the value of x. X is 3. So here you write the pattern again to say term 1 is called what? Is equal to 3x minus 7. But we know x, remember, x is equal to what? 3. So we can find now term 1. Term 1 is equal to 3 bracket 3 minus 7, which is equal to what? You can use a calculator to get it quicker, or you can use 3 minus 7. It gives what? It gives me a 2. I think that's the first term. You can find the second one, t2. Now what will be t2 is equal to 2, x is 3. Now 2 times 3 is 6. And then t3 will be equal to 3x plus 1. Remember, x is 3, which is 3 bracket my x is 3 plus 1, and it's 3 times 3, 9 plus 1, it's 10. So in this case, I'm able now to write my sequence. Start with t1 is 2, so we've got 2 followed by 6, that is my t2, followed by t3, which is 10. So you see that's how this pattern was. This was t1, this was t2, this was t3. Now let's not lose sight of the question. It says which term in the sequence is the first to be greater than 31. We want a term that will be greater than 31. So you can continue this. Say t3, you go t4 to say how do you find t4. So what you do, you're going to look at this and say if this was to continue, I'll say from t1 to t2, 2 plus which number must I add to get a 6? You add a 4. So you're saying 6 minus 2, you get that 4. And then again, 6 plus 4, what do I get? I get a 10. I can continue having t4 T5, T6, T7, T8. Let's put it together now. If I say 10 plus 4, remember it's 10 plus 4, I'll get my T4. Now what is 10 plus 4 is 14, so there is my 14 there. That's my T4 because of my space. Again, I will say here, let me use a marker that is different here, so I'll get my 14. So I'll say 14 plus 4, what will it become? 14 plus 4, it will become 18. So this number is 18. Again, I continue to say 18 plus what number? 18 plus 4. Even this number, I'll add it plus 4. Even this number, I'll add it plus 4. You see that? So I'll say 14 plus 4 is 18. 18 plus 4, it's 22. Now 22 plus 4, it's 26. 26 plus 4, it's 30. Now I move on to T9. So again, with T9, I'll add 30 plus 4. I'll get what? I'll get 34. There we go. They said here, which term in the sequence is the first to be greater than 31? Look at this. The answer is here, to be greater than 31. T8 is 30, so it is less than 31. But T9 is 34. So 34 is greater than 31. So the term there is T, or you can say term number, or term 9. You can just say term 9. We can do that, but this was the long way of doing it. What if they said which term in the sequence will be greater than 1000? You see, it was correct manually, but you can actually do it in a way to say, how do you work it out? You work it out the similar way we did with the previous one, to say what are the numbers? 2, 6, 10. So I can bring these numbers here, 2, 6, 10. Now if you still remember how I got that general term, we said from here you are adding plus 4, from here you are adding plus 4. Now I said, is it possible for me to go backwards? And said yes. So this is T1, this is T2, this is T3. So how can I go backwards and find that number? We said you subtract when you're going this direction. Okay, you're saying 10 minus 4, you get 6. 6 minus 4, you get 2. So you can take a calculator now and say 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4, it gives me a negative 2. So here, remember, it's a plus 4, but going this direction, we say 2 minus 4, we are getting a negative 2. And then I said the numbers that are important are these two numbers. So what you do, you take these two numbers to say it's either two versions, it's minus 2 bracket plus 4. So you start with 1 here. Or you have got 4, right? 4 plus, okay, let me do that. We have got 4 bracket plus negative 2. You interchange them. So, but plus and minus, you know, minus has more power. So you can just simply here say 4 minus 2. So here you put a 1. So let's see the one that is going to give me what? That will give me this 2. So if I say minus 2 times 1, let's use a calculator there. If I say minus 2 bracket 1 plus 4, it gives me what? It gives me a positive 2. So here I'm getting a 2. Let's continue. Minus 2 bracket 2 plus 4. Let's see what it gives me. So in a way, you're just testing which one is going to work for you. So it's minus 2 bracket 2 plus 4. It gives me a 0. So which means it's not going to work because I'm expecting to get a 6. So let's start with the first one. This one is 4, 1 minus 2. So if you use that, let's see what it's going to give us on the other side. So it is 4 times 1. You agree it's 4. So it's 4 times 1 minus 2. It still gives me a 2. Okay. Let's continue. 4. Instead of 1 now we put what? 2 minus 2, what does it give me? So you also use again the calculator to say 4 bracket 2 minus 2. There we go. You see, it gives me a 6. You continue now. 4 instead of 2 now is 3 minus 2. You see that? It's giving me a 10, which is that. So that's the one. So this gives me a 6. 4, 3 minus 2, I get a 10. So which means I can actually get that general form to say, remember, this is not the 1. Here it's not the 1. So you can actually call this T1 equal to T2 equal to T3 equal to then Tn. So you see, when there was 3, I had 3 there. So it will be 4. What do I put there? N minus 2. See that? So the general formula is Tn is 4 times n. It's 4n minus 2. That becomes a general term. It will help you get whatever number. So now you can use that to say, the question was, which term in the sequence is the first to be greater than 31? Remember, it must be greater than 31. So you're going to say here, Tn must be greater than 31. But what is Tn? Tn is 4n minus 2 must be greater than 31. That's what they're saying there. If you wanted to work it out. We know our answer is 9, but how do you get 9? Take minus 2 to the other side. You have 4n is equal to 31 minus 2 becomes plus 2. So 4n is equal to 33. 31 plus 2 is 33. Now how do you find n? You divide by 4. 4n over 4 on both sides is equal to 33 over 4. Why? Because you want to get rid of that 4 so that you're left with n. So 33 divided by 4, if you check a calculator there to say 33 over 4, it gives me what? 8,25. So when n is 8,25, it is going to give me, if I put 8,25 here to say 4 times 8,25, it will give me 4 times 8,25 minus 2. See this? It will give me exactly that one. So this 8,25 term is exactly that one. But now you know what is 8,25. They said which term of the sequence is the first to be greater than, it must be bigger than 31. So you can see that this is after 8, but now the next term after 8,25 is what? The next term that follows there, it will be term number 9. And you remember, we did find term number 9. So the term there is term 9. From 8, you go to 9. Because it's 8,25, then it becomes 9. So guys, that is that. And this question was not bad, with 10 marks. And yeah. Now let's look at next question number 5. It says 5.1. It says the sketch below shows the graph of f of x is equal to b to the exponent x plus q, and a point A 25 appears on the graph. So this is the graph that we are given. It's a what? It's an exponential graph, you see, and you need to know how to interpret that graph. We call this the line of asymptote. It's an asymptote. And the equation of that asymptote they gave us, y is equal to 1. Now the question, what does it say? Calculate the values of what? B and Q, 3 marks. Which ones are they talking about? They're talking about that B and that Q. Not complicated, you need just to understand this. Look at this. Just writing it like this. F of x is equal to b to the exponent x plus q, right? If you look at it here, look at it. They gave us something here. Y is equal to 1. So now what is y is equal to 1? Now y is equal to 1. In this case, it's an asymptote, and that asymptote is the one that is equal to q. So this q is actually the asymptote. I think that. So here, what you just write, you just say q is equal to 1. Just by giving that line, automatically it becomes q. So since we know that q is 1, what do? We then say, okay, we know that q is equal to 1, and you are given a point here. So you write the equation again, f of x is equal to bx plus q, which is plus 1. Then you are given a, and what is a? 2, 5. So what you do is 2 represent x, 5 represent y. You come and substitute here. But don't forget, f of x is the same as y. So you can write this and say y is equal to b to the exponent x here plus 1. I think that. So where there is y, I cannot substitute. Now where there is y, what do I put? I put a 5. So 5 is equal to b. Now where there is x, I put what? 2 plus 1. You see? Now we can find b. So it's a matter of substituting. Where there was x, we put the value of x here. And then where there was y, we put the value of y. It's called substituting. So now you have to solve for b. Now plus 1 can go and join 5 so that it becomes 5 minus 1. Then it will give us what? B squared. Are you seeing that? Now what is 5 minus 1? It's 4 is equal to b squared. How do you get rid of the square? Remember, to get rid of the square, you square root both sides. You square root, but when you square root, you say plus or minus. What is square root of 4? Plus or minus 2. In this case, it's plus or minus 2 is equal to b. It is then your duty to know when an exponent is like that, what is your b? In this case, this is a common exponent and your b can only be positive. So your answer then is going to say b is equal to 2. You don't take the negative. If it was negative b, I think this graph was going to be different, in the sense that if it's negative b, let me see how it's going to be like. Just because of time, I should have tested it for you. But if it was negative b, let me look at it like this. If it was minus, if it was, let's say g of x is equal to negative bx, like this, plus q, that negative sign, that's what I'm talking about. Remember, when it's negative now, your values of what do you call this, your values of y are the ones that are going to be what? Are going to be negative. So you expect it to become as a graph like that, the negative side. Are you with me? When x becomes what you call positive, the graph becomes more negative. It was supposed to be like that, but because it's going up, we only say the graph is involving positive b as well as q. So here b is 2, q is 1. Okay, next let's move on to the next question here. And in here we're looking at 5.2. Say given f of x is minus x plus 2, this is the graph of f of x. It's a bit confusing, you don't know, but anyway, minus x plus 2, it is this straight line graph. It is this one. Why? Because g of x is minus 3 over x is that graph, you know. You see that it's a hyperbola. So this is a straight line, this is a hyperbola, which is not drawn to scale. P and Q are points of intersection of the graphs. There is the point of intersection P, and there is another point Q. Intersection means where they cross each other. Now what are they saying? They are saying determine the coordinates of P and Q. P and Q, how many marks is that? 6 marks. Can you imagine this? 6 marks, P and Q. Now anything about intersection, this is what you must understand. At intersection of graphs, anything that the moment they mention intersection, or the moment you observe that the graphs are crossing each other, what you need to know is at that point f of x is equal to the other graph, which is g of x. Always remember that. Always remember that. Now you take the graph of f of x, which is minus x plus 2, is equal to take the graph of g of x minus 3 over x. Always remember that. That's why it's 6 marks. They wanted you to solve for x here. Now how do you solve for x in such a question? Here are 2 options you have to do. You can say everything over 1 and then you cross multiply. Remember, there is an equal sign. Actually, this equal sign is supposed to be not there, but the way it is, you can say equal to, and then you say the way they wrote it is what? Minus 3 is on top, so you say minus 3 over x. So you see where the equal sign is. Then you do cross multiplying, meaning that top multiplies the bottom and the top there multiplies that bottom. That is what cross multiplying means. So you're saying x times, that's why you put times, and then you say minus x plus 2. Those brackets are important because you have got minus x and plus 2 as separate terms, is equal to 1 times negative 3. So the x will open there to become x times x is negative x squared, x times 2 plus 2x is equal to 1 times 3 is negative 3. Now it is better not to work with that negative sign. Take x to the other side where you've got 0. Negative x, you start with the 1 with the highest power. Negative x become positive x squared, followed by negative 2x. Remember, everything is going this direction. So what you have is minus x will go there, 2x will go there, that's why it's positive, negative, and then minus 3. Why am I taking it? I just wanted to get rid of that negative so that it becomes a positive there. That's the reason. Also, what I wanted is to arrange it in a standard form. Remember our standard form? What does it say? The standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Remember that. And if you look at what we did in the previous questions, if you look at what we did, let me just check here. There are some previous questions that, like this one, yes, says factorize completely. This is where it's based from. We did factorize such. And then also, when you're solving these, you needed to factorize first. So you're having something similar there. And where's my question now? I think I'm working on it. Okay, it's not here. Yes, this is where it is. Actually, it's on the next page. So we are here. So when I arrange it accordingly, it will then become x squared minus 2x minus 3. I'm starting from this side. This must be equal to 0. Are you with me? And then you do factorization, product sum. So there is a 1 there. You take that number and take that number, you multiply them. It's your what? It's your product. So it's times. So what is the product? It's 1 times 1x squared times minus 3 is negative 3x squared. And then what is the sum? The sum is the center number, which is negative 2x. So we're looking for two numbers. When you multiply them, it will be minus 3x squared. And then when you add them, you'll get what? Negative 2x. So in other ways, you're going to look for the factors. And what are the factors? You are looking for the factors of 3, which is 1 times 3. And as I always say, it's easier, but you have to be sensitive with the signs. I need to get a product of negative 3. So it's either it's a minus, minus is not clear there for me. It's minus 1 times 3, or it's positive 1 times negative 3. You need to get hold of my product sum method. Now, these two numbers, when I multiply them, you can see minus 1 times 3, I get minus 3. 1 times minus 3, I get minus 3. But now when I add them, I need to get a negative 3. So, when I bring a calculator in these two numbers, minus 1 plus 3, I'm getting a positive 2. But 1 plus negative 3, I'm getting a negative 2. So, if I add these numbers, this is the one that will give me a negative 2. So when I factorize it, what do I have now? I will have x squared. Instead of minus 2x, it will be put x there and you put x there. It will be plus 1x squared minus 3x minus 3. That gives me a what? A 0. Factorize the first two, factorize the second two. What's common in the first two is x. x into x squared, it's x plus x. I think there is an error here. It's 1 actually, not power 2. It's 1x. X is common. X into x squared is x plus x into 1. You cancel the x there, you will remain with 1. You cancel the x there, you remain that x. Remember, when you're factorizing mainly, you're cancelling. So that when you say x times x, it's x squared. X times 1x, you get that 1x. Are you seeing that? And then what's common in the second one is minus 3. Now minus 3 into minus 3x, you get x. Minus 3 into minus 3, you get a positive 1 also. So here you will have what? X plus 1. This must give me a 0. When the brackets are matching, perfect. What you have is x plus 1, and then outside the brackets is that one, which is x minus 3. This must give me a 0. Then I can solve for x. What is x? X plus 1, the first bracket, is equal to 0, or the second bracket, x minus 3 equal to 0. Take x to the other, 1 to the other side, then x is negative 1. Take minus 3 to the other side, then x is equal to positive 3. So these are the two values of x, and the question was the coordinates of P and Q. P and Q. Now you can see one of our x value is negative, one is positive. So you can tell which one is which. So if you go down here, it's on the negative side, that's your minus 1. If you go up there, that's your positive 3. Because you cannot have a positive 3 on the negative side. Remember, x is negative 1, x is positive 3. So that is that. That's why it's 6 marks. So, but they said coordinates, and coordinates must have x and y. So you must go to any of these graphs. For example, let's use f of x. If we say here f of x is equal to, what is f of x? It is equal to minus x plus 2. Negative x plus 2. Remember, the first one is x is what? Minus 1. So if I say f of minus 1, where there is x, is minus 1 plus 2, it will give us the other value of y. This one, you just have to use your calculator to say minus bracket minus 1 plus 2. What do we get? 3. So the value of y there is 3. So you come here and say that coordinate there, P, is minus 1. You can see y is 3 there. So it's minus 1, and see, that is the part where it says is 3. So you're going to say P is minus 1 and 3. That's what they want to mark. And then you do the same thing for Q. What you do for Q, come here again on the same equation, but this time you're going to say f of x. Remember, f of x is equal to minus x plus 2. So you're going to say now, when x, we said x is what? X is 3. Now we put 3 there to say f of 3 now is equal to minus bracket 3 plus 2. Now we want to get the answer now. What is minus bracket 3 plus 2? So it's minus bracket 3 plus 2. It will give us a negative 1. So we have a negative 1. You can see that that value there is minus 1. So that's the value of Q there, which is what? X is 3, y is negative 1. These are the coordinates that they were looking for. So the answer is that one, and the answer is this one. Are you with me? That's the first part. That's why they wanted 6 marks. And then B, 5.2.2, the coordinates of B. Now, what is it about B? Alright, let me just erase a bit there, because we've done this. We know, remember, that is a 3. That's a 3 there. Now, they want the coordinates of B now. Something is interesting about B. How many marks is this? This is 2 marks, so it's not much. So B, you see B there is crossing the x-axis at B. So when it crosses, we call this the x-intercept. So here, at the x-intercept, you can see y is going down, down, and at that point here, y is 0. So here, y is equal to 0. Or, since B is linked with f, you can say f of x is equal to 0. So what you do is, you take this graph and say, in this question, f of x is equal to negative x plus 2. Now at b, we are saying f of x, look at this, or y, you can use any. At that b, you can see that the value of y is that 0. So y is equal to 0. So what you do here, you come and say 0 is negative x plus 2. Then you solve for x. Take negative x to the other side, it will become positive. X is equal to 2. Then the question was the coordinates of what? Of b. So you write it in coordinate form. Then you say b is, the x coordinate is 2. Remember the y coordinate is 0. That's why it was like that. Then the last one, the length of GF if E is minus 6, 0. So let's look at this. GF. I don't know where is F. Let's assume it. I hope it's there. GF, that's my assumption. They're saying what? If E is minus 6, 0. So they're saying here it's minus 6, that E there, it's negative 6, 0, meaning it crosses at x. Remember, this is x, this is y. So it crosses at x is minus 6. And that is the part they want. G, I hope G is starting there. And F is somewhere there. So now they want the what? They want the length. I think I'm right. The length of GF if E is minus 6, 0. So what you do is you go to this point and ask yourself here, what is the value of y here? Like this. Now when x is minus 6, so what you do is you go to the graph of f of x, this graph here, to say f of x is equal to minus x plus 2. So you're saying when x is negative 6, so you're going to say f of minus 6 is equal to, so you're saying minus 6 plus 2. So we want to check out what is minus 6 plus 2. So it will be minus 6 plus 2, it will give me 8. So here it means, when I just erase a lot of things here so that you can see, it means that at that point you have got 8. So y is equal to what? Is equal to 8 at that point. Now x is negative 6. I'm writing it the other way around. So the coordinates here of G is negative 6, 8. You see? Now from this point of G to go to that point of E, how many steps did I move? You focus on the y values. It means you moved 8 steps down. So these are 8 steps down. Remember that. So remember I'm moving from 0, y is from 0 up to 8. So which means these are plus 8. The question is, I need to find the length of GF. That's why it's a bit tricky, because they didn't actually give me F here. It's a bit tricky here to say, how do I know what coordinate was that F? That is a bit tricky. Remember, these are not drawn to scale. In a way, I'll say it was kind of incomplete question, because they needed to give me the coordinates of F here. So this question was somehow incomplete. If I get the coordinates of F, then I was able to know what is that distance from here to there and then up there. But for argument's sake, maybe they wanted to say this F is linked to that Q. See this? If this was linked, it's not going to be a problem, because that point here that I have, it's when I'm looking at the y value, it's minus 1. Remember, it's the value of y, so it's negative 6, negative 1. So I can say the distance there is 9 units, whereby going up there it's plus 1, then up there is plus 8. So 1 plus 8, that distance there will be FG is equal to 9 units. But this is just kind of guessing it up, but the question was not complete anyway. Alright guys, so these are how you go about total 50 marks. I hope it's benefiting to you guys. Remember, subscribe Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Remember guys, reaching out is proof of passion. I've reached out to you. You need to reach out to your friends and share this channel. See you again in paper 2. If you are looking out for paper 2, just shout below and say, can we have paper 2? The more you shout, the more I know. The more actually you tell me down there on the comments, the more I know that you definitely are looking for the second paper. So tell me if you want me to do paper 2. If there is no comment, I'll just leave it like that. Anyway, thank you for your time. Cheers, bye.